And mine is pretty much the same as Davita's. I think right from the beginning, people get overwhelmed. I don't know if people have been on either the state's website or on the county's website or the IPH here in Detroit, but it can be quite overwhelming and it can turn people off immediately. And so I think just being aware of that and contacting someone, whether it's I'd be happy to help you out through that process, or it's SCORE or SBA, just to not let that aspect get you turned off immediately. And I know that's not Natasha's fault that it is that way.
Our website is very user-friendly.
It is. You guys have a lot of stuff in mind.
But I think just being aware of that it's not going to be real easy from the get-go is important. That it's going to take a lot of work and investigation and time to figure all these things out.
Yeah, and I think your best resource for that and the not being scared card is to hook up with other people who are in the same situation. Meet some people today, connect with them, and stay in touch, because those are the people who you're going to call, because you'll be one step ahead or they'll be one step ahead, and you can be like, man, I just talked to the inspector today and she gave me this really awesome, helpful information and I just wanted to pass it along to you, you know? And so you guys can help each other out that way, and it just makes it better for everybody.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of what Davita and Micah said, in terms of time, things don't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So please don't expect us to come out and do an inspection overnight. It just doesn't work like that. We love to accommodate people, but at the same time, we have to be realistic in our plans on when we plan on opening, operating. We have to just kind of keep realistic goals. Like Davita said, they have a whole process for Kitchen Connect, application, all of that. Same with us. So you can't apply today and call tomorrow, hey, I'm checking the status of my application. You just sent it in yesterday. So to be honest, with us, we have a longer turnaround time. If you mail your application in today, I won't see your application for 4 to 6 weeks. So just to let everybody know, whether you go through them or anyone else, stuff takes time. So just don't expect it to be like you mailed it in and next week you're calling saying, hey, I mailed my application and I'm waiting on an inspector. We haven't even seen your application. It hasn't even made it through finance. Your check probably cashed, but it's still on. They're gonna cash that check. Yeah, that's probably still on. So keep that in mind, because we get a lot of calls from people who say, hey, I applied, I'm ready to be open. And it's kind of like, okay, well, we really can't do anything if we don't have your application on our end. And that takes literally, if you mail it in, print it off and mail it in 4 to 6 weeks. If you do it online, it kind of shortens the time, but it still at least takes anywhere from 2 to 4.
And just as a reminder, Natasha is representing the Department of Agriculture, and then there's another organization which we've been talking about as the Health Department. Their name currently is the Institute for Population Health, and they're the folks who do all the licensing for catering, and for restaurants and those kinds of establishments, and also for food trucks eventually, although currently they're not issuing licenses for food trucks in the city, so don't try to do that. So we have about 10 minutes left. I'm going to open it up for questions, and maybe I saw Christine had her hand up. So
I just wanted to add one more thing, is that a lot of people who get into a food business, they have aspirations that they want to be bricks and mortar, and they want to get into distribution, and they want to get into Whole Foods, and that's where they want to go. And other food businesses are maybe supplementing another home income, and they're happy at a farmer's market, and that's all that they want to be, and that's all they want to grow to. So I think it's really important to understand the vision that you have for your business and where you want to take it, because as you're building costs in, you should be aware of potential distribution costs and packaging costs and all these other costs that are involved in getting your product into a different into the chains of commerce. That perhaps that if you've been selling something at a farmer's market for X, and now all of a sudden Whole Foods comes a knock-in, little by little, everybody's going to take a little piece off of that, and you're not going to be priced right. So knowing where you want to go helps you better establish that price going forward that everybody else in the marketplace gets used to, and then you're not taking a significant cut when that time comes. So I just wanted to add that.
yeah, that's a great point. Okay, yeah. Can we start?
Natasha, can I have your website?
Yes, our website is www.michigan, spelled out, .gov, I think that's / MDARD. MDARD,
What does that stand for?
Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. And if you look on your left hand, when you go onto the website and you look on the left hand side, it's broken up into categories, and food, it'll have a whole section for food. And once you click on that, it'll even give you start a business information. It has a separate little tab for information for industry. So it'll be broken down.
Natasha, could you give us that website again, please?
www.michigan.gov /MDARD.
What other questions do we have for the panelists?
Micah, can you make salsas and tomato-based products for under cottage food law?
So I thought about this after I mentioned it. So cottage food, I said time and temperature, and jam and jelly is not time and temperature, but that does not qualify other things that would be canned and jarred. So jam and jelly is the only thing that is allowed under cottage food law. That is, so all your salsas, hot sauces, barbecue sauces, the chow chow today, none of that would be allowed. So that's a whole another process that Ms. Bruce Chow Chow Salsa can walk you through. It's a very lengthy process with a number of steps. It's very different. Thank you. Juices. We were just talking about juices. Juices are a beast to figure out because there's a very short shelf life. But we can talk more. Like I'd be happy to talk to you about juices.
We have one question here, and then one in the back next.
I am in the process of.
You can stand up and speak up so people over here can hear you.
Sorry. I'm in the process of trying to do what the leader has already accomplished, which is setting up kitchens for shared use. And right now, because we don't have tenants, what am I was looking at how you have to put out a menu, for the plan. And would I do like kind of a best guess estimate of what type of clients we're gonna have? Say we're gonna have a baker in there. I can't actually put out their menu because I don't know who they are. So, but I'm in the process of completing all the information to get licensed at the shared use kitchen through MDOT.
So I'm gonna ask that you guys take this question offline because it's pretty specific, and
Okay.
I'm not sure it will be relevant to
You
everybody.
made everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about there at the back?
Actually, two questions. If you could repeat the two different places that give mini grants, I didn't hear.
Yep. Yeah, so the first one is the Detroit Food and Agriculture Network, DFAN. And Christine, if people want to find out more about the next meeting, where should they go?
If you Google DFAN, you'll get a link to a web link, the WordPress website that'll have our events on there. But August 14th is our next event, and it should be listed on there as well. You can look for us on Facebook as well, where we have our events as well. And then if the grant application is on that website as well.
You have to be a licensed business to even apply for the grant, or
Yes.
you still be in the
You
start?
have to be a licensed.
You have to actually be a licensed business, okay.
Yeah.
Question for Natasha, is the baby food business, is that a very, very hard, look at her. That's something hard to get into?
Yes and no, when you say, depending on what you plan on doing in terms of baby food.
As far as like additives and different things like that, or is it just baby food? That's what my homework, so is that the biggest thing?
Yes.
So it depends on the amount of ingredients that you add, and let's say you just add cinnamon to the peaches. I mean, that's something that's gonna be, first, if you add rice and other things, I mean, what are the strictest standards for starting up?
You want me to remember off the top of my head?
How about this is another one where you guys can.
Yeah, I'm gonna defer you to Micah, because he deals with
I'd be
that
happy
more.
to.
Not to say that I don't want to
I think it
answer,
really
I
just
could
depends
probably
on
think about it.
how you want to package it.
And that's another thing I've been looking into as well. I mean, it depends on the specification, I mean, it depends on a lot of things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you guys have resources as far as packaging?
Micah do.
Yeah.
Micah.
Yeah.
Great. Maybe the folks from Michigan Box, do you guys want to raise your hands? What a relationship to
Oh,
Scott Teach, Michigan Box. We are a Michigan manufacturer. We're located in Detroit, and we pride ourselves in helping startup companies that have a need for packaging, and it usually is the last thing that they think of. But you have to brand, you have to image, you have to secure your product. And a couple of the customers that we started up with, you may recognize as Garden Fresh or maybe Bosco Foods. They all started in the infancy stage and had to look professional in order to get out to the market. We're here to help you guys do that, and the packaging is huge in the retail, even in the wholesale market. So we're more than happy to sit down and talk with you and answer any of the questions individually if you'd like.
Great, thank you, Scott.
Do you have a website?
Michigan Box.
Michigan Box. If you search for it on Google, you'll be able to find their website.
Or if you come see us, we'll give you a card.
Or just come see us. So maybe 2 more questions, and then we're gonna wrap up and go. Oh, we have a lot more. Okay, let's see. Can we go over, or are we very strict on time?
We can go a few minutes.
A few minutes over. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions, and can you make it quick? Number 1.
Hi, Sophia. You mentioned the need for liability insurance.
Yes.
In case, God forbid, someone gets sick.
Yes.
Is there a threshold? Like, when should we think about doing that? Like, when we're selling a little bit, a lot?
I mean, yeah, very good question. Thank you for asking. There is, so I repeat the question. So her question was about insurance and when folks should start thinking about insurance. And I think you should start thinking about insurance at the very beginning. As a matter of fact, there is a company, and I cannot remember off the top of my head, where they provide insurance even for folks selling at a farmer's market.
Michigan Farmers Market Association. Look them up online. They provide an annual policy that has a really good rate.
So at the very beginning, you should start thinking about insurance. And then as you begin to grow and expand your business, to even start in our commercial licensed kitchen space, you can't even get into our space without insurance. And just real quick, Christine, we require our vendors to have insurance at Eastern Market, yes, no?
We did. We required them to have $1 million of insurance, and we before had our, you would specify Eastern Market as an additional insured, but we have put that onus now on the vendor. We recommend it strongly, but it's we just decided as an organization that we weren't going to enforce that.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Where's the next question? Was it right here?
Yeah, this was for Natasha. Besides the cost, what's the difference between a food license in Detroit versus somewhere else or versus the state?
So, so how it's broke down is local health departments, that would be, Detroit is its own separate health department compared to Wayne, so it doesn't fall under Wayne County. But all the county health departments, as well as Detroit, they license anything that makes food for immediate consumption. Now, food for immediate consumption can be it's not as cut and dry as you would think, as it sounds. So food for immediate consumption would be any of your restaurants, or depending on your coffee bars, any like some of your donut manufacturers, like your Tim Hortons, your Dunkin' Donuts. And then on the other hand, the state, we license everything else, meaning your gas stations, your grocery stores, your party stores, your warehouses, your processors, and as well as in terms of retail stores, we do like your cookie manufacturers. So for example, locals takes Tim Hortons, Dunkin' Donuts, the state takes Mrs. Fields, Nestle, Cinnabon. So you look at Cinnabon, Nestle, and Mrs. Fields as food for immediate consumption.
Wait, is that because those companies are nationwide, or?
No, it's because those companies, when you notice, when you go, you can get cookies, like you can get a dozen, you can get them and they're already normally packaged already for you. So you can just go up and grab the package and pay for it and leave. Whereas most of the time at Tim Hortons, they don't package their donuts up. You gotta tell them, oh, I want a dozen, give me this, 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 and this. Whereas a lot of time, Mrs. Fields or Nestle or Cinnabon has a pack that's already ready to go. And you just go in there and you grab it and you go, or the bags of cookies, they sit on the counter, you just grab those and go. So that's the main difference in terms of licensing.
Thank you.
Thank you.